By Dr. Ahmed Adamu, a petroleum economist and a lecturer at Nile University in Abuja. Thank you, gentlemen, for staying with us. And let me come to you. Let me bring Dr. Ahmed Adamu in. We've just got a couple of minutes before we have to take a break. You're a petroleum economist and a lecturer at Nile University. Thank you for your patience, by the way, and for joining us. Who do you reckon will call the shots in this new renewable world order?
Well, it depends on the demand. If you look at the current energy demand requirement around the world, is largely transportation. I think that's the reason why oil was very prominent, because of its convenience for transportation. And I think if we can get some diesels from, maybe like he was talking about, biodiesels, and you're talking about electric cars that can move, you can charge them and move, then the question is, from where do we get the electricity? Which source is the most convenient around the world? And so far, we've seen the domination of natural gas and coal in most part of the world for generation of electricity. And I think Nigeria, that's where we stand a very comparative advantage, having the largest natural gas reserve in Africa, and most of it we flare. And that's a huge cost. So this is a wake-up call, a bigger motivation for us
to
tap.
So up to this point, you can certainly, and that's a good point you're making, it can be argued that energy sources such as oil have essentially dominated geopolitics, but that potentially is changing.
Yeah, because oil energy domination, or oil and energy fuel domination has a regime. We had so far 3 major transitions. And it's obvious that we didn't have to wait for oil to be exhausted for us to shift, to have a transition. And it has to also, because emergence of new technologies will push the oil out.
It's already doing
yes,
that.
And we're talking about the price of oil itself, the fluctuations affecting the economies.
Okay.
Prediction
listen, we're talking to you before we went on a break. As one expert from Chatham House in London said, God has a sense of humor and has concentrated the resources for oil and gas in a limited number of countries. And the result of this is everybody is competing to get access, and very often that competition turns into military competition. Are you going to see that move from oil to renewable energy resources?
Well, I personally don't think so, because the attraction of the Western powers to some of these vulnerable countries were due to the inadequacy of technology as at that time, and insufficient availability of energy sources. But due to development of technology, they have less demand or issues to do with other countries, because countries that could not manage their resources from this fossil fuel, they would be left alone to suffer, and they have to go and borrow money from these people. Again, I don't think natural gas or natural resources have been proven to cause natural disasters or conflict, like the theory of resource cost has postulated. So I don't think renewable energies are, though they are natural resources, but they are not like minerals or things you dig from the ground, and things that you have to harness within your country. And I don't think Western powers, they have more things to do with Africans and other less developing countries. To me, I don't think it's going to lead to conflict.
Well, let me. We're almost out of time. Let me ask you this: when we get to that point where new technology has chipped away most of the old technology that depended on oil, what happens to Nigeria?
Well, I think that's when we really face the consequences of our failure to really diversify. The oil has been here for more than 3 decades in Nigeria, and if it has failed to build its replacement, then it's a shame. The way we manage our natural resource sector is entirely a failure, and I think we have to start from scratch. And instead of us to be leaders of this transition, we later on have to become the followers. And Nigeria, I think we are in strategic position to even lead Africa and the world in terms of this transition. We should be leading toward that. Otherwise, we'll lose our power, and the currency will be affecting the entire economy.
Okay.